NASA is on a mission to keep the world safe. Later today, NASA's double asteroid redirection test, also known as DART, will intentionally crash into a near-Earth asteroid in the name of planetary defense.
The question is, can we redirect an asteroid if we ever needed to? Here to tell us more about this mission is astrophysicist with Johns Hopkins Applied Physics Lab, Dawn Greninger. Good morning, Dawn.
Good morning.
It sounds like it's right out of a movie. What can you tell us about what exactly is going to happen today?
Yeah, so tonight at 7:14 p.m., the DART spacecraft is going to intentionally crash into Dimorphos. And before I say anything else, I just want to emphasize that Dimorphos is not a threat. It is not going to hit the Earth. This is purely just a test of something we call a kinetic impactor. And this is one of the primary methods of mitigation for planetary defense. So what we're going to do is we're going to impact into Dimorphos and change its orbit slightly. But what's really special about this asteroid that we're impacting into is that it's actually part of a binary system, hence the double asteroid in the name DART. So because it's part of this binary system, when we crash into it, we'll be able to very precisely know how much we've changed its orbit for testing for planetary defense.
Explain to us a little bit about the size of it. Earlier we had mentioned, that the size of the asteroid versus the size of actually the particle that's going to be hitting it. Tell us about that.
Sure. So the asteroid Dimorphos is about 160 meters in size, so about 500 feet or so. And that's fairly large. However, the DART spacecraft is only 20 meters in size, so about the size of a school bus, about 60 feet.
Wow. And so how do we know if it does change the orbit of Dimorphos, right? I mean, how do we know that it worked?
So tonight, after the impact, astronomers all over the world on all 7 continents are going to start observing the Didymos system in which Dimorphos is part of. And so we'll be able to see changes in the light from the asteroid, and that will tell us exactly how much that orbit has changed. So we'll get direct telescope confirmation of the change and know exactly how much it will change.
So this is the first time that this has ever happened, correct? I mean, this is the first time we've ever attempted something like this?
Yes, the very first time. This is the very first planetary defense test mission of ever, attempted.
Do you anticipate that this will be the first of many, or is this just kind of a one and done thing?
That's a good question. I can't speak for NASA and what sort of priorities are in that, but I know that in sort of the whole planetary defense landscape, mitigation is just one part of it. The big thing that we need to do is, in order to protect ourselves against asteroids, we really need to make sure we know where all of them are. And so by the end of the decade, NASA's planning to launch a telescope called the NEO Surveyor mission. And this mission will be out there is a telescope in space that will look at all of space and see where are potential asteroid threats and try to catalog them so we are better prepared in the future.
It kind of piggybacks off of Leanne's question that she just asked, but if this collision doesn't do what you're hoping that it will do, are there plans to do it something, maybe a bigger object flying into the asteroid?
So in the event that the DART spacecraft does not impact, NASA is going to begin assessing and trying to figure out what went wrong. At the current moment, there are no plans for any follow-on impacts. And so, we really just try to figure out what exactly went wrong because, because this is a test ultimately. And so, things might go because this is a test, things might not go as planned, but we're really confident that we're going to be hitting Dimorphos this evening.
Dawn, it's a lot of fun. We're anxious to see how this all happens. I know we'll continue to monitor the story in the days to come. We appreciate your time this morning and best of luck tonight.
Thank you so much.
We always like doing those interviews. I know we've interviewed NASA and now Johns Hopkins. Alan, it's fascinating, and it is out of the science fiction movie, really, is what it sounds like.
Absolutely. Right, they're going to get them off catalog, kind of know where they're at,
Yeah.